personally and for everything that you did for us. When you fought for the freedom of France, the freedom of Europe. You may be aware that on June 6th, so a few weeks ago, the French community in New York organized a very symbolic event on Liberty Island, because Liberty Island is the symbol of freedom and it's the symbol of French-American friendship. So there were two giant French and US flags unfurled next to each other by French and American pupils from French schools of the greater New York area. And also there was 1 million rose petals that were dropped by helicopter. And because we wanted to say thank you, and for me to come here today and meet with you is another way to say thank you to you personally and to your brothers in arms with whom you fought for my country. So it's a real honor to spend this moment with you and with your family.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup.
Yes. I always had a wonderful feeling about France. I've visited many times.
Yeah.
And we made some dear friends there. And as a matter of fact, they come to our reunions, the 83rd Division reunion.
Right.
Dr. Cornelis.
And
you know, I think this is not only for myself, but for every GI that fought. And I've been a horrible battle.
I know.
Especially Normandy and Saint-Malo and.
Yeah.
But I have the distinction of liberating one town. I was the first one in Cali.
In Cancun, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a beautiful city now,
Yeah.
and very famous nowadays because one of the most famous French restaurants is now in Cancun.
Love to go.
The moule.
Yeah, and so the place, this restaurant,
mussels
would probably not be there if you had not been there yourself 70 years ago. So
hopefully sometime I can return. Then give me better. I'm sure make a trip back.
that'd be wonderful, and we would love to welcome you again.
Thank you.
And so you know that President Obama was in France for the 70th anniversary.
Well, let me tell you where I was supposed to sit.
Yeah, I know. And
but you know, if he asked me did I vote for him, I would, of course, I'd say no. I'm a Republican.
But it's from everything I heard, these were very powerful moments, very emotional moments that our presidents spent there together among World War II veterans, and for us it really means a lot for what was done by then, but what is always striking to me when I go back to France is that even young children in schools now, they know what happened. They know what we collectively owe you and your comrades. So it's always very moving. 7, 8, 9 years old children.
I know all about that. As a matter of fact, the times I've been back there, I met up with some of the school children there, and and how they would parade out and show their appreciation, for freedom. Most people don't know what France went through at that time. But it was a horrible time for all them people in Normandy.
Indeed.
they were really slaves. They were really like slaves. Yeah.
And all over France.
Yeah.
Because the Nazi occupation was horrendous. And you know, D-Day marks the beginning of a new era for France, but also for Europe. It's now the European Union is being what it is. It never would have happened if without the help of America, without your help.
That's true. I'll give the British a little credit for that.
Just a little.
You're being very generous today.
Actually, I remember times we were under Montgomery. You know, the 83rd Division was under Montgomery, and you know, he just was too tortuous. You know what they would do? I think they took a break at 1 o'clock every day for tea. While we drove ahead, you know. And my division was, you know, when we first went into Normandy, we were green. We fought the 6th Parachute Regiment, which was Hitler's elite force, and we also fought this 2nd SS Panzer Division. So we really had to learn how to fight in a hurry, because we had 7. We went through 7 regimental commanders in a period of almost, let's see, 3 weeks. But when we got Robert York, who eventually became a lieutenant general, he turned our regiment about. We were probably one of the greatest regiments that ever fought in Europe, of all that ever fought in Europe. That Bob York was, when he died, I got to tell you this story. I went to West Point for his burial, and every general that served under Bob York, because he had done a lot after that war, and our government wanted him to lead the fight again in Vietnam, but Bob's attitude was, we go, we win. Otherwise, I don't want the job.
Right.
Well, he turned our outfit around. There was no regiment. We never lost a battle from then on. And he looked after us. I had a lot to do with him because my job was I ran the observation post for the battalion.
I know, yeah.
And he, whenever he would, you know, attack, he'd be with me.
Right.
And I'd always say, oh my God, here comes all the artillery. Because they they triangulate right on the radios. You know, we had a bunch of radios there. So. He was a great man. But all them generals, when they got up, I guess what you call the Harmony, and they said, he's the greatest combat leader ever in the United States Army. And he was my commanding officer. You got to give Bob a lot of credit. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be receiving this award, or dishonor, I should say. I'm talking too much.
Must have got some extra blood in you. Oxygen. It was that oxygen level.
Where do you live in France?
I was born in Paris. I grew up in Paris. But my family is from the center of France.
Not along the Loire, is it?
A little further south.
Yeah.
And so we still have a place there, but
not one of them there, but chateaus.
I wouldn't go that far. I wish. But yeah, it's but you know, being a diplomat, I spent most of my time out of France. So I was posted in Washington D.C. for a few years. in China for a few years, Indonesia, and so when I heard that I was getting appointed in New York City, so that would be my second tour in the US. We were really thrilled to be back, because we feel, you know, in the US like it's our second country. So very much.
Well, America and France have always been that way.
That is true.
Yeah, the French helped us in the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And next year, I'm sure you will hear about that, because in France they have been rebuilding the frigate on which the Marquis de Lafayette embarked to come and help the Americans. And so this exact replica will cross the Atlantic next year, and it will go to Yorktown, Philadelphia, and it will be in New York on July the 4th.
Wow.
It's a beautiful ship. It's an amazing ship. It's called like the original one, Hermione, Hermione in French. And you can look it up on the internet. You'll see beautiful pictures, and so we will be there, and we will celebrate French-American friendship also next year.
Yeah, it was the French blockade down Yorktown that ended the war, basically.
Yeah. So, and then you know, World War I. There's this famous story that French people know. The Marquis de Lafayette is buried in Paris, and when the first American troops arrived in 1917 in France, there was this American officer, Colonel Stanton, who went to a cemetery and to pay tribute to the Marquis de Lafayette, and he said, "Lafayette, here we are."
Returning the favor.
Yes. And so this sentence is well known in France. Yeah. So I will now proceed with the formal ceremony, if you would allow me. So I will have to say a few words in French, if that is okay.
Oh, please do.
Oh, yes.
Because
Oui,
it's the
oui.
way it's the way we do it. You may know that the Legion of Honor is the most prestigious award in France. It was created by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1802 to reward extraordinary accomplishments for France, and I'm quoting the original words that the Emperor Napoleon used when he created the Legion of Honor. And so now it's a personal decision by the President of the Republic of France to award the Legion of Honor. So it's a very sought after distinction, and so I'm very proud to bestow upon you today the Legion of Honor, Mr. Bielen, for everything that you did for our country. Stanley et Bielen, au nom du président de la République française, nous vous faisons chevalier de la Légion d'honneur. Thank you. Congratulations.
Let's